What's good, everybody? Welcome to Whole Views. Thank you for clicking that thumbnail. My name is Corey, and today we're going to be talking about Fall Guy. So, question for today's video is, what were your expectations for Fall Guy? Because when I hear about the movie, I constantly hear about how it was a disappointment, but it was a good movie and it made more than the budget cost. So, what are we talking about? Fall Guy is an action-based rom-com, and on my scales, I call it good. It had a $125 to $150 million budget, and at the box office, it made about $180 million. And so, in my opinion, my thoughts, that's probably a slight win for that film. And I know this statement is going to make me sound like a hater, but I'm not. But when I think about rom-coms, whether it's action-based or comedy, regardless of what it is, I just don't have huge expectations for those types of films each time they come out. If you do a quick Google search of the top rom-coms, and I'm gonna have it posted right here, none of these movies have action as a part of them. So theoretically, you would think that having action that is legitimate, really good action come alongside a rom-com, you would think, hey, that's going to get a lot of different people at the theaters. We're going to have action that's really good. We're going to have a rom-com that's going to get a certain demographic. We're going to win. Maybe that's how they built their expectations. But for me, just looking at the marketing, I skipped this one in the movie theaters because nothing about it intrigued me. I just didn't think that this would be something for me, regardless of the action, regardless of the stars involved. It didn't get me excited. And so I didn't go see it. I caught it way later. When I think about like Hollywood expectations, I think a lot of times people think that stars can get people into the theaters. But honestly, that hasn't been true for quite some time. I think outside of Tom Cruise and Dwayne Johnson, who's very inconsistent with it, there's not many stars that you can inject them into a series or into a franchise or into a film and expect box office return because this person's name is attached. So let's walk through it. The idea of this being a disappointment. First of all, you have a rom-com, which normally they don't make a ton of money every time they come out. I did show the top grossing rom-coms of all times, but that's of all times. If we looked at a more little general search, I'm sure that we would see that they don't make tons of money each time out. So that's one strike against you. Second, we just discussed how you have star power not really being a thing like it used to be. Outside of Tom Cruise and maybe a few others, you could maybe name some people that, hey, that name should get a certain amount of box office because it's a name. But Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt, I don't see those names as being names that like pull tons and tons of people to the box office. That fact alone is one of the things that makes Hollywood lean towards existing IP to get people to come to the theaters. And Fall Guy does have a little bit of existing IP. It was a TV series back, I think, in the 80s on stuntmen who became bounty hunters or something like that I read. But okay, you have some people you believe to be stars. You have a rom-com which shouldn't get your hopes up as far as making a whole bunch of money. And you have an IP that's probably not well known. Like, why would you think this would be one of the biggest movies of the year? Like, I just never had those expectations. I just don't get it. I don't get the idea that this movie was a disappointment. I think the movie was very good. Like, I enjoyed it. I know it didn't make the money that they wanted, but I don't think their hopes should have been that high on making a ton of money, is, I guess, the point that I'm trying to make. They should have had way lower expectations. They should have tried to keep that budget as low as possible to get the movie made, because having Ryan Gosling and having Emily Blunt and having a not very well known IP is not a recipe for $500 million. Like, I just don't see that being the draw. But that was the formula that they came up with, and people seem to be disappointed that it didn't make more money. I think you made more than you spent. You should be happy, but Hollywood wasn't. Let me know your thoughts on it. Let me know your expectations for it. I don't think that the expectation should have been super high, but let me know your thoughts. I know Ryan Gosling was coming off of the Barbie thing and that whole thing, but it just never clicked in my head that, oh, his next film is going to be this big home run of a film financially. Just nah. It might be good, and this was good. I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't expect the money to be bigger than what it was. But please let me know your thoughts if you've watched thus far. Thank you so much for watching thus far. If you have, and that's all we have, enjoy yourself, guard your heart, and go watch something good.